Is working from home great or what? I've been doing this for a long time. I absolutely love it. This video, we're going to talk about working from home or working remotely. Okay. This is mainly geared toward people who have not jumped completely into uh, working from home yet and starting their own business, but it certainly applies to people who already own their small business and have been working from home a little bit. There's a lot of gold nuggets in here that I think could really help level up some people and what they're doing. And you know what? I'm really happy to be joined today on this call with our superstar tax stud, Tony Dixon. Tony, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, Tim. It's great to be on this video with you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love it. Thanks, man. And yeah, I think let's just start out. Tell me, are you working from home today, right now?
As we speak, like I am working from my home office right now. And it's interesting. Like the I love the idea and the concept of working from home because most people have a home. Like there's going to be some sort of place that you go to rest your head at night, to hang out with family, friends. I mean, you have your stuff somewhere. But when we talk to entrepreneurs, there's always this component of, well, what can I do, and how does that work into what I'm doing for my business? If I can, I'd love to share a little bit about what I've personally done when it comes to working from home. Because, like I said, I mean, I'm working from home right now, and in our company, I have a full time office that I have from my home that is always accessible to me. So there's always an option. But we also have a dedicated office for staff and employees and everything else that we're doing. And
Yep.
so, whenever I talk to someone, it doesn't have to be a one or the other. It can be an and. And so for me, there's pros and cons to working in an office, and there's pros and cons to working at home. And there's a lot of moving parts and dynamics that you look at, and then not all of them have to do with necessarily money or taxes or business establishment. There's also, I'm also a father. I've got two young boys. And so working from home doesn't always make sense. But when they're at school or when they're at camp or, there's a quiet period, man, I love it. I love working from home from that standpoint.
Yep. Well, that's a perfect introduction. So, from my history, it has been, I guess, humble beginnings with getting my business started. So, just, I mean, my gosh, back in 2009, when I got the Savvy CFO business, what it is now, when I got that business started, I was working in my friend's mother's second floor hallway. It was basically a shelf that I turned into a desk, and she let me come in there and work there. It was a quiet place, and I mean, I had what I needed to do my job and start my get my company off the ground on a shoestring budget. And then things developed. Was able to get a bigger place where I had a dedicated spare bedroom a couple years later. And then things developed more, and now I've got my own. This is my home office. It's a dedicated workspace, and I've been here for a pretty long time. And just like your business, all of the folks in our company have that same option. They work remotely. They work from their homes and or wherever it is that makes the most sense for them. So I think what we're going to do, beyond just telling our personal stories here, is let's talk about some of the basics. Okay, that you need to know and need to really have kind of necessities in order to successfully work from home. And then we talk about all these benefits. There's so many benefits to working from home that maybe people just don't even realize. So let's just hop right into it.
While you're getting that slide going, I love the origin story because many people here will probably have something similar. I know when we first started up, my first home office desk was a folding picnic table, and like truly, and I think we got it used at a garage sale. So like my office furniture when I first started cost me a total of $12 for the chair
Yes,
and the
I love
desk.
it.
But you know
Yep.
what? It was such a cool and exciting time to where you're making things happen. Like there's big change, there's big possibility, there's so much, optimism and hope and just the goals are huge. And so I remember sitting at that folding table and folding chair thinking to myself, this is a really exciting path. And I felt more empowered at that desk from a home office at a $12 furniture set than sometimes I feel in our office now. And so it's a really cool place to be for any entrepreneur.
It is a really cool place, and and that feeds right into this next thing is just the mental makeup of what how you perceive the working from home to yourself. You felt empowered. You felt stronger and happier working from a $12 desk than than you had when you were working in a large office. Kind of like I call it my past life when I was under the fluorescent lights, working in the big office buildings. But that mental makeup, you really have to look at the basics in two ways, right? Mental and physical. So mental, you have to have a psychological commitment. You have to personally make that decision in your life that, okay, I am going to make a success out of myself working from home and ignoring all the distractions and all of the things that normally you pay attention to when you're at home. But okay, now you just got to turn that mental page and be like, okay, now I'm I got my work mind on, my work mindset. And then the other giant mental hurdle that I think is tough at first and then becomes routine and simple is generating finding a healthy work life balance. So you do that by creating boundaries. I have a wife and kids. They know that when I'm in my office, I'm at work. So there's a boundary there, and they know that I'm concentrating on doing my job, and that if they come up there, unless it's really an important reason, then it's a distraction, and that's not. It's kind of like an off limits place. Friends understand the same thing. They think, oh well, I see your car's in the driveway, so I'm just come over and hang out or something. Or a roommate that maybe doesn't understand boundaries. You have to establish those, and you have to make sure that not only your mental makeup is in a good place, but those around you are as well. And we talked about some of the physical components of having a home office, but it can be very basic. Okay, laptop and a smartphone. That beyond that, you just have to have the ability to hook into Wi-Fi or internet, and then make sure that you've got heating and air conditioning. Beyond that, that's about it. You need your desk and a good chair and a place where you're not going to have interruptions. Um, when you are working from home, using technology maybe becomes even more important than ever before, because that's how you're going to stay connected with your coworkers, your vendors, your customers. So utilizing the cloud, utilizing software, oh gosh, eliminating paper for anything that you need. I almost put having a printer on this list of physical things that you need. Sometimes I guess you still maybe do, but I left it off. There's a million ways to avoid paper. So as long as you try, you can achieve it. And then if if in some form and fashion and down the road you want to change the physical makeup of your office to having your own office in a nice corporate building, you can always graduate to that when the time is right. Um, those are the basics. Now let's hop into the benefits. This is the fun of it. And I mean, we're blessed to be partnered in here with Tony, who can teach us a lot about the benefits of tax benefits that come along with working from home. Tony, would you mind giving us a brief explanation of what we should be trying to take advantage of because of having a home office?
Absolutely. And Tim, as you've explained kind of the benefits and what is needed from working from home, what I love about working from home is it's easier now in today's economy to work from home than it's ever been. We spent a lot of really crazy years with a lot of restrictions and quarantines and all kinds of stuff. But what it did force was an adaptation to working remotely, working from home. And so it's almost like the entire world had to be trained on how to do exactly what you just described on the last slide. Now, what's really cool is when you attach a business and a pursuit of revenue to that, now you can start talking about how you can utilize something that maybe you've already been trained to do from a previous job, or what you're doing in building your business to lower your tax liabilities. Because what's really cool is as you build this business and make money, you're going to have the ability to use home office expenses to lower your tax liabilities. And there's a couple different things that you have to consider in that process. Tim, you did talk about when the time comes, maybe it does make sense to upgrade to an office. And there are some really good tax benefits to doing that. But as a brand new business or early stage startup, you may not have the luxury of a lot of cash flow, a lot of excess cash to pay for rent for an office, to sign a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year lease. So working from home is definitely a much more affordable option. So maybe you're giving up the tax deduction of writing off an office expense from a big office, but you're saving all of that money that you can dump into other more critical parts of your business. But when you do work from home, there are deductions that you can take. Now, there are different criteria that you have to be aware of, but some of the things that you can look at, there's like a simple way to do it. So if you just want to get super basic and easy, the IRS has made this easy for you, to where they say you can take $5 for up to 300 square feet of your house. So that basically is a capped expense of $1,500 that you can write off against your taxes. But one thing you have to be aware of is this space that you're writing that expense off for has to be used exclusively for the business. So, you can't just take the entirety of the house and write it all off as an expense. You actually do have to have dedicated space in the business for that. So maybe that's storage for product. Maybe it's where you have your desk and your chair. It's where you have your file cabinets. It's where you make calls. Maybe it's where you meet with clients. These are all really good use cases for what you can use a home office for to then get the tax benefits. But if you want to keep it super simple, you use the simplified equation. Now, there are certain situations where maybe like Tim or myself, when you have a home office and you want to do upgrades, maybe it's painting, maybe it's building cabinets, maybe it's getting some custom desks, new lighting, maybe you got, some whiteboards on the wall like I have behind me. Those types of upgrades then can be written off as well against your business. So those are qualified tax deductions. Okay, so that type of improvement and upkeep and customization of a home office can be used and deemed tax deductible. Now, stuff beyond that I think people should probably know is the IRS isn't really known for using, easily understood or clear verbiage when they describe their tax laws. But the way they describe it is you can have direct or indirect expenses for the business. So a direct would be what I just explained, painting the walls, building cabinets, something that is directly being used specifically for the business. Indirect expenses would be mortgage, interest, insurance, utilities, those types of things that space that you're using will utilize, but you can't take the entirety of those expenses as tax deductions, but they're going to be a benefit to you. So you can absolutely benefit from those expenses. So hopefully that helps understand a little bit of these tax write-offs that you're going to be able to tap into while working from home as a business owner.
Yeah, I think that's excellent. Thanks for walking us through that. It sounds like, for people who maybe didn't know that look, there's potentially thousands of dollars of tax write-offs that you can take advantage of, and obviously, you would want to talk to your tax advisor or CPA. And I'm going to put a plug in there um, uh, for Tony's group. You can always call or try to connect with one of the people at Advanced Tax Group, and they're going to be able to help you understand what it is that you can and cannot write off. So I would encourage anybody with those questions to contact them, and we'll have the contact information for them up on this video and in other videos too, in the Savvy Startup series of videos. But back to more benefits. There are no geographic restrictions if you have a home office and you're doing things kind of the way we're describing them. You're just digital, you're working remote. You don't have to quit your job if you move. That happens for people. They have to, okay, well, they're going to move. Well, they have to get a new job. No, you just pick up your laptop and take it with you and then set up shop wherever it is that you move. Or same thing when you're traveling. You don't have to miss something important. You don't, or if there's an important meeting during the week when you want to be out traveling, you don't have to cancel your trip because you have to be in the office for that one meeting. You can just hop in that meeting remotely through your phone or your laptop. You can set your own schedule. If you prefer, when are you most efficient with work? It might be really early in the morning, might be really late at night, might be on the weekends, and everybody's a little different. Personally, I'm kind of a 9 to 5, 8 to 6 type person. That's more what works best for me, and that's where most of my clients in the type of business that I operate, that's when they're at work too. So that works out best. But you can set your own schedule. There's zero commute. Oh my gosh, I've got friends. I live in North Atlanta, right? Traffic here can get pretty bad. And some of them are in the car for an hour or more just to get to work and an hour or more to come home. I mean, there are so many things about quality of life that you can gain by not wasting 2 hours in crummy traffic to just get to work. Tony, you mentioned it. This is working from home is amazing as a parent, and
100%.
there's been lots of times where my wife is at work. She in the past as a teacher, so she's in the school, and I'm at home. One of our girls is homesick from school. Well, neither of us have to take a day off of work in order to be home, right? And I'm always home for dinner. I'm always home in the morning to help get the girls ready for school or whatever they're doing that day. And it I think has helped me tremendously be a better parent, working from home and having this freedom. And then clothing and attire. If there's no meeting, you can wear whatever you want. And unlike being in an office where you have to, be dressed specifically, you just can't beat it, right?
Well, and to that point, I think we've all known people when it comes to the attire who have joined a Zoom call or a Zoom meeting or even just a phone call where they're business on top and party on the bottom. They're like
Yeah,
buttoned up shirt with like Bahama shorts on the bottom, and you just don't even know, right?
yeah, yeah. Um,
You can't do that in an
I'm
office, but
I'm
from
guilty
home.
of that.
I
I'm
think we
not
all are.
usually wearing a sport jacket when I'm crunching numbers for a client. It's that's not the normal. This is special just for all you all out there watching our videos. Let's keep going. There's more benefits. How about eating healthier? Gosh, and I used to eat out for lunch every day, and those were not healthy meals. And so being able to meal prep and do grocery shopping, it's cheaper too. You're not eating out every day. It's kind of expensive sometimes. Germs. If you're in an office with 100 other people, then those germs are going to get passed around, and your odds of getting sick are a lot higher than if you're home by yourself. Pretty simple, right? Distractions. Those same people carrying around germs in the office are probably going to stop by your desk, your office, your cubicle, and want to talk to you about whatever they've got on their mind. And that's pulling you away from getting whatever it is that you need to get done. Um, Gosh, and what's even worse is maybe they're even coming around to talk about corporate office politics. That's just like a biggest waste of time ever, right? So, does that happen when you're working from home and you're by yourself? No. Private. I got to tell you, I like to drink coffee, and I didn't love having to share a coffee pot with the whole rest of the office, or the refrigerator that everybody used on the floor, or the public bathroom, or this or that or whatever. I kind of like being able to not forced to share, to spend my day being relatively comfortable. And Tony, you mentioned this a little earlier, with the craziness of the year 2020. Socially and professionally, it's accepted now. Working from home is very different in the eyes of my clients, in the eyes of vendors, in the eyes of customers. Um, I mean, I remember back in '09, 10, 11, 12, way back in the day, I would tell people that, yeah, I, I am working. I have a job. I own a business. And they'd be like, no, you don't. You just work from home, you bum. Like,
You're at
and
home.
nobody understood. And
Truly.
that's okay. But now everybody does. So it's one less thing, one less hurdle to consider. And so now it goes from a negative to a benefit. And I mean, to wrap this up on the benefit side, man, it's inexpensive. You're already paying for internet for your house. You're already paying your mortgage or your rent, your insurances. Um, why would you want to go and double those expenses essentially by having an office in a big corporate building, right? It makes good sense for a lot of different types of businesses, not all businesses. But, even if you're a type of company, like if you're a plumbing company and you have to be out working in the field, you can still have your own headquarters in your home office where you handle all the administrative work, right? So,
You know, to that point, I actually know plumbers who work from home and their storage is just a trailer that they haul around. And so they just put everything in their trailer in their driveway or on the side of their house. So that way they're not paying for a warehouse or an office space. And that trailer then becomes a tax deduction as well.
nice, nice. Always there to point out the tax deductions. That's our man. So thank you. In summary, if you're on the fence and you're trying to decide, is entrepreneurial life for me, is working from home something that I don't, maybe I'm not, you don't think, okay, I can do this. Hopefully, listening to some of these things kind of calms those fears. And for people who are already working from home, hopefully you took away some gold nuggets from this. Um, but let's just wrap it up here. Got to, first of all, prepare yourself mentally for that change. Secondly, you got to find a great spot, nice, quiet, comfortable place in your home or whatever the next best alternative is working remotely. Spend your money only on the essentials. You don't need to spend a ton of money to work from home. In fact, you can probably save a lot of money. And then and maximize your technology. Technology is your best friend working from home. And then finally, just enjoy it and take advantage of all the benefits. Tony, thanks so much for joining us, and everybody for watching these videos. We'll see you on the next one.